So episode 3 of Just Because has arrived. Now before we talk about the actual content within episode 3, I do want to talk about the production side to this anime, because last week I did mention how, there's supposedly these kind of production issues, but I thought it was just on the subtitle side of things. However, today I've been seeing all over Twitter and Reddit, things like that, that apparently the production to this anime is not going so smoothly. Now, it's not an uncommon thing for anime to have some issues with production, but to have it start up very early in a series is a little unheard of, even with the understaffing in the anime industry. But apparently this isn't going over so smoothly. This episode was actually outsourced to a studio that apparently hasn't even done any anime work prior to this episode. Now granted, I don't have any facts to back up that claim, so if I am wrong, forgive me. This is just what I've been hearing from some pretty credible sources on Twitter who generally have nothing but actual, factual knowledge on these types of things. But apparently the director for this series went on Twitter and had a kind of rant and just, went off on this project, which isn't unheard of. You kind of see those where either they get drinking or they just are really pissed off, and then sometimes they kind of take back what they said. But Pine Jam is the studio producing this series, and Pine Jam did Gamers last season, and they are a fairly newer studio. They haven't done that many big series. However, apparently he's kind of blaming them for basically them not being able to finish the episodes on time, and then they're also saying that he's not giving them the storyboards on time, so there's kind of this back and forth, and it sounds like it's a bit of a mess. I mean, the fact that they already had to outsource an episode, it does leave me a little worried for future episodes, but I will say if this episode was 100% outsourced, it didn't look too bad. There was some noticeable differences compared to the past couple of episodes, but it still looked rather good, so as long as we can finish this anime with a smile on our face, I'll be happy overall. But I did want to throw that out there, so if you do know some weird things going on in the future, just know this production isn't going over too smoothly as of yet. But this episode, episode 3, I don't have a whole lot to say, but I do gotta say Haruto is best boy of this series. Now, the overall cast too, Just Because, is very entertaining. A lot of them are very real-feeling characters. They feel like high school students, but Haruto is the character that I always look forward to seeing the most of. This guy is a man on a mission. He likes this girl and he's determined. He's bound and bent that he's going to make this girl fall in love with him. And even if he has to overcome his fear of dogs, he's going to ride his bike for miles on end to get there so he can go on a walk with them. And there was just, at the end of the day, like this episode for the first little bit, I thought it was just a very slow burn style of episode, which is perfectly fine. This is the type of series that I expected it to be. But when you got to the Haruto stuff and his just determination and resolve to get to that walk, it left me smiling. So when I fully saw him get there, he's almost passed out from just being exhausted. He gets handed that cup of tea, you see that smile on his face, and then he's trying to pet the dog and just his almost faint reaction. The art design was actually pretty damn good. There was quite a few moments where just the facial reactions and just the shift in the design really did crack me up, and I just think his overall determination and his goal for the series really is the star of the show, and I love every single scene that he's in. But when it comes to the other side of the spectrum with our main character and essentially his resolve, and the new camera girl who's really kind of bound and bent to become his friend and essentially be able to win this competition so their club can stay active, that stuff is also entertaining as well. It's just the Haruto stuff is my favorite of the show. However, if you were to remove Haruto, this would still be a good series nonetheless here. But I think all the characters, this is building up to a very complicated relationship where who's gonna like who, our main character's gonna like this girl who likes Haruto, and Haruto likes this character who likes this person. It's gonna be a bundled mess. I feel like that's what we're building up to. But right now, it just feels so sweet and pure, but also very charming all at the same time. And this is why I like it. A lot of people have said, I don't know why I like Just Because, but I'm very much enthralled by this series, and I feel that way too, but I think it's just because of how real it feels. Feels like a very normal high school series, but at the same time, it has that level of charm that makes it feel a bit more interesting than high school at the same time. And I think it is just the characters' personalities and how just kind of real they feel, but also they're a little bit silly and quirky as well, and it just makes the whole series flow very nicely. Now, this episode did look, I would say, the worst out of the 3 episodes, and if this was a fully outsourced episode, that would make sense because it is going to look different people working on it. But I still thought it had its moments, like the Haruto stuff when he's almost passing out in his reactions. They were very, very funny. Overall, I just think the past 3 episodes of Just Because have been a very kind of breath of fresh air. You don't see too many school-focused series that really feel like school, but also have that charm that it needs to make it feel entertaining, and I think Just Because has been doing a good job, so I hope the production side of things goes a bit more smoothly going forward, but If we're already having issues only at episode 3, who knows, but hopefully this all will blow over and this anime original will come to an end in a good way. But I love this episode, but not a whole lot to say past that. The Haruto stuff is the star of the show, but all these characters and how they're kind of linking up to one another, it seems very interesting, and I'm interested to see how this is all gonna come to a very big bundled of a mess of just character interactions and who likes who, because I think that's what we're building up to. Let me know your thoughts. What are you thinking of this episode? And like, what do you think of Haruto? Is he your favorite character, or do you have a different one? Let me know your thoughts. And before you leave, smack that like button to show your support. If you're new channel, be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.